What's up, y'all? It's your boy Heaven Hollywood for the IE Network, and this is the Heaven Hollywood Report. I spoke about this a few times in my live, but people hit me up in my DM asking me to break down and explain what actually happened with Nicki Minaj and Beyonce. So for everybody who missed it, I'm going to break it down for you today. Now, right around the time when Nicki jumped on the remix with Beyonce, whatever the song was, when she said, "Things go down when there's $1 billion on the elevator." Nicki was on the remix for that. And that was the song that Lil' Kim went and made a response to and said that she's the real Queen Bee and what that was coming at Beyonce and Nicki Minaj. But that was the first record that they got on together. Now, Beyonce was really, really impressed with Nicki. And the thing is, Beyonce had always held off on getting with Nicki, even though she likes to collaborate with girls who are on top of the game. Now, Nicki was on top of the game for a while at this point, but because of Mariah Carey's word, remember, she would talk to Mariah Carey at times. Mariah Carey would come over with Nick Cannon, and they'd be talking to her and Jay, and, Mariah got on Nicki Minaj. And at one point, Beyonce was like, I'm not going to get with her because, of what Mariah said. But then as time goes on, and she realized, you know what, Mariah has an issue with everybody. So maybe it's her. So I'm going to attempt to reach out to Nicki. So Beyonce decided she wanted to, she made it happen through Jay, that she wanted to do a collab with Nicki. Once she got with Nicki in the studio and saw Nicki's work ethic and she was like, wow, this girl is like me except a rapper. And her being in the studio with Nicki is really what ultimately made her decide that she's going to do her little hybrid rap or whatever you call it. But they did that song. They did Feeling Yourself. They recorded a couple of other songs, and then they recorded the 7-Eleven remix. That was kind of like a part 2 to Feeling Yourself. And they were going to get, them two videos were going to be very similar. And Nicki was supposed to be in the 7-Eleven video, in the remix. They have that song in the cut. Now, after Nicki and Meek fall out, Sheetha comes out. I believe this is 2016 Sheetha came out. Sheetha comes out. Now, at this point, Jay-Z is working with Fat Joe. And Fat Joe says, I got some things coming out with Remy Martin and I want, you to be a part of it. I want to link up and see, what we can do as far as some records, and we want you to get on a couple of records. The record that they wanted him to get on was the All the Way Up remix. Now, Jay-Z is very smart. And Jay-Z has to hear the record first before he decides whether he's going to be a part of it or sign his name to it. He heard the record, and he said, "You throwing shots at Minaj? Are you throwing shots at Minaj?" So Remy said, "Why do you say that?" And he said, "Come on, I already know. You throwing shots at Minaj." So Remy was like, "'Cause she throwing shots at me." So Jay was like, okay, this is good. This is good. I like where this is going. So Jay, who was going to put Drake on the All the Way Up remix, because he now hears that Remy's going to be throwing shots at Nicki Minaj, he removes Drake from the All the Way Up remix. Right? So a lot of y'all don't know that, didn't know that. That's why you listen to me. So he co-signs Remy Martin throwing shots at Nicki Minaj. Now, in the meantime, Beyonce's like, me and Nicki are cool. Jay is pretty much saying, listen, this is business. She's on her way down. If she's not gonna, do any good for you, what's the sense of hanging around her? What's the sense of going on with a relationship? She's out of control now. She's losing control of herself. She doesn't know which way she's going. She's got her camp all messed up. She doesn't know whether she loves Meek or hates Meek. She's messed. She can't do you anything but bad right now. And I'm going to tell you right now, she's going to try to use you for a cosign if she ever responds. And you better not have no part of it. So sure enough, on cue, Nicki was going to respond back to Sheetha within the week. Okay? Everybody says, oh, Nicki didn't have a response and Nicki was scared of Remy. That's not true. Nicki was going to have a response back to Remy. But it was not a full song. It was a few lines, and she had Beyonce as the cosign. She was going to use an old clip of Beyonce saying, I knew a girl named Nicki, I guess you can say she was the rap queen. And she was going to play that on the hook. So it was going to be Nicki featuring Beyonce. And there had been no way that Remy would have been able to withstand that. Only thing Nicki had to do at that time is put the Queen of Music, as she was labeled by Clive Davis and all of the industry now. All she had to do was put her on the record and Remy would have been done. So what happens is Nicki, who had that clip because Beyonce sent it to her I believe on her birthday. So she already had the clip. So Nicki Minaj could have just simply put it out, but she didn't want to do that. She wanted to say Nicki versus Beyonce. Nicki featuring Beyonce. So she had to get the clearance from Beyonce to say Nicki Minaj featuring Beyonce. She could have put it out with Beyonce's voice on it, but it's not the same thing. It's not that cosign. So Jay-Z told her, didn't I tell you? She's trying to use you. You have no part in this. I'm working with Joe right now. And now you're going to get on the record. That's a conflict of interest. No, we're shutting that down. And I told you, it's time to distance yourself from her. She's on her way down. So, you're right, Jay. You're right, Jay. So Beyonce against what she really wanted to do, because Beyonce really does like Nicki Minaj, and she's very fond of Nicki's work ethic and Nicki as an artist. But Jay-Z runs that household. Jay-Z runs that marriage, and Jay-Z runs that partnership. So she distanced herself from Nicki. Nicki couldn't get any return phone calls to clear the record, so she had to go to a plan B. She tried for a week and a half, 2 weeks to get the clearance. She could not get it. I guess after a while she got the hint and said, you know what, I'm just going to plan B. Plan B was no frauds. And Drake really didn't want to be a part of that either. That's why I still will say it to this day, I believe Drake gave Nicki his worst verse ever, because I heard he wrote it in the studio. I heard he had no verse for the song. She kept asking him about it, kept asking about it. He kept saying he's going to do it. Finally, she just pulls up on him, and he's trapped. So Drake gave her a verse, in my opinion, being petty, because he didn't want to. I have I have no problem with Papoose. I don't have any problem with Remy. You know, you get him into me all sorts of things, and you really just made up with me just now. You know, we still haven't even really had that conversation. You haven't really apologized. You feel as though you did nothing wrong. You feel as though you were staying out of it, but you really weren't staying out of it. You know, silence is consent. So Drake didn't want to do no frauds, but Wayne said, look, we haven't been together in so long, and now Nick needs a, you know, she got Remy on her tail, she got Meek Mill on her tail, and this record's out here right now, and all the social media killing her. We got to do something. It's always still Young Money to the death of me. So we got to get on the record for the sister. So Drake said, okay, well, all right, Wayne, whatever you say. He got on the record with him, got in the video when he really didn't want to do it. But Nicki resulted to No Frauds as a second option. That was not the record she was going to release. And all of the industry knows, you know, most of the industry that's in the know and in the circle knows that Nicki's response had Beyonce on it, and it was only like the first verse. You know, and some of those rhymes are broken up throughout the Queen album. And some of the lyrics was on Barbie Ting. So that's how she ended up making Barbie Ting. She took some of the lyrics out. You know, that's why when she was going to, you know, she mentioned Jay in it, how she was going to sign a Jay, and then she mentioned about girls still talking about us, but they're on reality shows. That song ended up being on Barbie Tings. Those lyrics ended up being on Barbie Tings. Those lyrics were a part of her original response to Remy Martin, a.k.a. Remy Ma. So, all of the narrative about Nicki was afraid and Nicki had nothing to say because Sheeta took her out. No, she had a response for Remy, and it would have been the rightful response. You know, someone on Nicki Minaj's status should not be wasting a whole song on Remy Martin at this point in her career. So her response would have been perfect. But because Beyonce has to listen to her husband, they pretty much shut that down. And she had to go to a plan B. And plan B was No Frauds. And Drake didn't even want to do that. So that's, in my opinion, the reason why you got that trash verse from Drake. Because he only did it because Wayne convinced him. Come on now. It's Young Money to the death of me. You know, we have to come to Sis rescue. She may have been tripping over the last year and a half or whatever she been with Meek Mill. But that's still the sis. So, they did the record, even though things were not fully patched up. Yeah, Nicki was back in camp, but Drake at this point was like, you're only coming back here because you're getting slaughtered. And that's what Drake allegedly was telling Wayne behind the scene. Yeah, but it's only because, she found out that this dude, found out that y'all are better as friends. But if you want to hear the rest of it, I just covered it also during my live. Go check out the live that was done, last night. Go check that out. And you can get the rest of it, because not all of it can be said on YouTube. We're going to follow up with even more detail. Probably I'll let G put it on the blog. Because, these people be in their feelings on YouTube, and not all that can be covered on YouTube. It's your boy, Heaven Hollywood, for the IE Network. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.